Well, first of all, great news regarding Scotty's signing the next few years.
Yeah, obviously great news for us. I think that Scotty coming back at the start of the year, I think he'd say himself, he probably didn't go probably the way he'd liked his move, and he obviously picked up a few injuries, etc. So I think to come back home was good for him at the time, and I think he's excelled in this. He's been great for me in the environment. He's been captain a lot of the time here, and he's led from the front, and both on and off the field. I think he's been excellent. So it's great to have him back. Great for him as well to have some continuity, and he's obviously playing week in, week out at the minute. So it's great to have him, to be honest, Kenneth.
Yeah, well, without question, I think most observers would say that he might be slightly unlucky not to be in the Welsh camp. I know that's not your area, but I suppose, Dwayne, their loss is your gain.
Yeah, it has been. Obviously he's played for us. Played a lot of midness this year, and he's been. As you've watched the games yourself. He's been. I don't know how many man of the matches he's had for us, especially here. He's been excellent. So it's he's been good. I think environmentally he's very good as well. For the group, I think we have a few few younger members of the group, few young centres in the group as well. So for him, it's been good because his quality day in, day out, both on and off the field is shown, and there's a lot to learn from him.
You've mentioned recruitment, but how important is that coming on the back of the likes of Patch and Sam Louncey? Those have come in the last few weeks as well.
No, yeah. Look, I think that coming in as well, we were obviously keen to keep hold of a lot of members of the squad. The names you mentioned, about a few. So it's it's good to secure them. I think the guys you mentioned, Patch obviously signing on, and Sam Louncey. Sam's been excellent as well this year. I think that he's really stepped up in that leadership role for us, and he's been good. So it's great to have him sign on for a couple more years as well.
The Connacht game, Dwayne, the weather wasn't great. It was one of those games where I suppose frustrating on your part, and Connacht do what they do best.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I think that we started the game particularly well with a game plan. We felt we wanted to take through, and then the middle part of the game we slipped away from that. In all honesty, we created some opportunities, didn't finish as well. There's a couple of line breaks which we didn't quite finish. So it was a frustrating night, if I'm perfectly honest with you, because it was disappointing not to come away with a victory. But the Connacht, to be fair, they put pressure on us, especially in the middle part of the game. That 20 minutes either side of half time, I thought they put some good pressure on us and forced errors, and we weren't good enough in that period of the game. We finished strongly. Yeah, I thought we finished strongly. The last 20-30 minutes we were probably the better side, and the first opening 20 minutes. But for that middle period, I felt like we compounded errors and let them back into it. And they're a good side at that. They keep putting pressure on. They play for 80 minutes, and that's what they did. So it was a disappointing loss, in all honesty, for us. I think that and when we reflected on a number of things. So look, we've trained hard over the last course of a couple of weeks. I think we're starting. I think as well for us, starting to get a few players filtering back into our training group now. Guys who've been injured for a long time, so it's all injured, short to medium to long term. So it's nice to get those guys back on the pitch, and hopefully over the course of the next couple of weeks we'll see them back in the fold. I think the big thing for us as well, excitement for the boys especially, is we've got 9 games in a row now, or 10 games in a row, which we haven't had this season. So obviously Glasgow this week and away to Africa on Sunday. So continuity, and obviously, as I said, mentioned getting a few of the guys back as well will be good for us. Good for us moving forward in these games, which are going to be very, very important now over the next 5-6 weeks.
Just a final one before I let others have a go. Then, Dwayne, you've touched upon getting personnel back. What any news on that front? Who are we expecting?
Well, I think over the course of the next couple of weeks, obviously, hopefully we'll have Blade Thompson back, who's a good leader for us. Thomas Lozana will be back in the mix over the course. Rob Evans will be back in the mix over the next couple of weeks. Shingles back. Obviously, he played last weekend, but he's picked up a bit of a knock, but he should be fine this week. Who else? Josh McLeod, is nearing coming back into training. So those guys, are big players as well. So it's we've been without them for a large part. So it's nice to have them back on the training field and look as if they're close to return anyway.
So those will more likely will be available for the South African trip rather than this week. Yeah,
a mix. Kenneth, not all of them will be available this week. Some will, but over the course of the South Africa and Zebre the week after, I'd say that and then beyond 2 weeks' time, we welcome back our international players as well, which will be good.
Cheers, Dwayne. I'll leave everybody else have a go.
Hi, Dwayne. Simon here.
Hi, Simon. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Can I just ask you a bit of a patch who we've got coming up, a bit later on? He's obviously had a tough road over the last 2 years, fitness-wise, but bit by bit, he's really sort of looked like getting back to what he was. As a former scrum half, what do you make of him as a fly half? Somebody you'd like to play with? What do you see as his great strengths?
Yeah, I think he's obviously a good distributor, and I think tactically astute. I think that his big strength for us has been coming on and adding pace to the game when he has played over the last couple of weeks. I think he's done that well. And I think the big thing for him, he's obviously a quality. He's international. He's an international 10, so he's got good qualities in terms of that game management. Big kicker of a ball as well. He kicked the ball a long way. So, it has been a case of trying to get him fit, and unfortunately for him, the last 2 years has been littered with injuries, and even this season he's picked up a few little niggles here and there, but I think, as you said, slowly but surely we've started to see him come back into form, and he's played well since Christmas, since he's come back into it really. So good for him really, that we obviously delighted to see that, it's nice to have him, as I mentioned earlier, back on the park, fit training weekly, and and getting better with the boys. And I think that he's obviously excited about getting time on the park, and he's getting better every game he's playing, I feel.
It can take a coach, Dwayne, I guess, a couple of years, maybe 3 years, to build a team, a squad in his own image. And I guess a big part of that is retaining key players. Now, in the last week or so, there's 3 key men come in. Is that going to be a process going to take you a while, or sort of almost each week do you start to work out exactly what the Dwayne Peel squad in 2 years' time would like to be?
Yeah, I think you have an idea in your head where you want to push it to. You have an idea in your head who you want to keep, and the crucial guys or the critical guys to keep are. So it's a week by week thing. You sort of. And it also down to availability, Simon. You might have someone in your head where you think like, oh, look, he'd fit really well here, but he's under contract for 2 years somewhere else. So it's a case of biding your time really and getting the crucial ones we need, and waiting for the right opportunities, I suppose.
How much scope do you have for recruitment for next season? Is it much, or is it just little bits of tinkering?
Well, obviously, Life of Feet coming in is huge for us. We managed to get Tommy Lozana over the line this year. Now he's someone who probably we haven't seen the best of. I've just come from a training session where he was excellent. So I think that Scotty as well coming in this year has been good for us. I know those type of players are quality players. So we haven't seen much of Thomas yet, and I'm looking forward for people to see him, playing properly week in, week out. In the glimpses we have seen, the Bordeaux game where he was outstanding, I felt. The Ospreys game where he'd come back from injury and played 60-70 minutes, or a bit longer after Josh went off. I thought he was excellent there. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys back in the fold. And I know that those type of recruits are obviously key.
Moving ahead with Lozana, did you see him as like an out-and-out fetcher style 7? Or the role changes so much. You've got Basham, who plays it as a very dynamic ball-carrying 7. Is that the number you see on his back pretty much as the first choice? For him, I mean.
I think he is a 7, but if you look at the course of his history, he's played 8 for Argentina. He's played 6 as well. He played 8 for the Force before coming here. So he's a dynamic player. He's very quick and very powerful. So I think he probably fits into that mold. Yes, he has a dynamic carrier. I don't think he's an out-and-out fetcher. In all honesty, I think he's got a lot to his game that I'm looking forward to seeing, really.
In terms of out-and-out fetchers, just one last one from you, Josh McLeod. Where's he on the? Because it's obviously been such a difficult time for him. Where is he at the moment? Yeah,
look, he's nearing return. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure he'll get close to returning. It's been a tough one for us to take, a tough one for him as well. I think I mean us as a group, because I think everyone feels for him. He's a good man in the environment. He's a leader here, and he's just frustrated that he can't get on the field. It's been a long time since he played, so it's he'll be excited about getting back. I think for us, it's crucial that he comes back when he's ready. Because we don't want any more setbacks, really. We want him to enjoy his rugby and finish the season strong with us. So he'll be back when he's good and ready to play, really.
What do you think the earliest realistically would be?
It shouldn't be too long. I'm not quite sure he'd make Africa yet, but it shouldn't be too long after that.
Good. All the best this weekend, mate.
Thank you.
Hi, Dwayne. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Just one on recruitment. Looking ahead to next season and maybe the season after, what areas do you think the squad does need to be strengthened at?
I think for me, I think it's about bringing quality in. So in terms of areas, like obviously we've recruited in the second row already this season, with Vaifafita coming in, so second row 6. So look, we'll wait and see what options are available to us. If we feel as we go along that we need to strengthen in certain areas, we'll make that call. But I think for us it's important if we bring someone in that they're adding quality. And I think that's probably the criteria more than certain positions, definitely, honesty.
Okay. Just in terms of James Davis, obviously he's been out for a while. I realise you're not a doctor, but when would you expect him to be back ahead of next season, or is it or is there no sort of set date for him?
Yeah, there's no set date. One thing about him, he's obviously been in training with us, and he's going well in training, but it is a case of making sure that he's right, similar to everyone else in that boat, really. So there's no pressure on him. There's no set date. So I suppose it's week by week with him, really.
Yeah. Obviously, I assume you're going to be happy to have Gareth Davis back for this weekend. What have you made of him since you've been at the Scarlets? I mean, perhaps he's not been at his peak form recently, but what have you made of him, and what does he need to do to get back to the form that got him on the Lions tour?
I think he just needs to enjoy himself playing, really. I think he needs to play rugby as well. He's not played rugby, so it's hard to hit the heights if you're not playing regularly, and he hasn't done that. I think that's the honest truth of it. He came back obviously late to pre-season from a Lions tour, limited pre-season. Played a game and a half for us, went to the autumn internationals, and then obviously the way things were with us as well post that, we didn't have any rugby then, so he's not played very much. He got COVID as well, so it's been a very, very frustrating time for him. My advice to him has been, we just got to go and play, and he doesn't have to prove to anyone how good he is. Yes, obviously form will be dependent, but he doesn't have to carry that burden. I think he just needs to enjoy his rugby. If he enjoys his rugby and gets into that frame of mind where he's free flowing and he's been a running threat, and you can see that smile on his face, then his form will take care of itself. And I think that playing games is the only way to get form. And hopefully now he'll be able to play a game this week, and I said to him that he wanted to back himself and go there and enjoy it, and that's what I want to see from him. He's a class player, and he just needs to trust in that and let his rugby do the talking, really.
Yeah, presumably you see him as a key player as well for the Scarlets moving forward over the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's class in it when he's on form. He's very, he's a lion. So yeah, he's been. We just need to get him playing regularly and enjoying his rugby.
And just finally for me, obviously, it'd be a good selection headache as well when Kieran's back from Wales and they're both available after the Six Nations. Dane Black has played well as well, so that's bodes well, doesn't it, for you moving ahead in the run in towards the end of the season?
Yeah, obviously those three are pushing each other hard, and then underneath, then we have Archie Hughes, Luke Davis, and Harry Williams as well. Who are quality players as well. I think we got 6 good nines in all honesty. So yeah, it's a tough position. It's very, very competitive. In that slot. So it's yeah, they're all good players, and I like working with them and seeing them pushing each other on.
Thanks, Dwayne, and good luck in the weekend.
Thank you.
Hi, Dwayne. Just one more if I can before moving on to Welsh. Just going back to South Africa, what's the mood in the squad about that?
Yeah, it's not been massive subject of talk really. I think that clarity around things were important for us. And I think that once we understand that we have to go back, it's been business as usual really. There's not too much focus being put on it. Obviously, there's requirements that have been put in place or getting put in place from the URC and etc. And questions have been asked from the club if things happen again, what's the process of getting back, etc. But look, it is what it is, and I think that we accept that we have to go back there. If I was in the Sharks or the Bulls shoes, I'd want to play at home as well. Is the honest truth of it. So yeah, we accept that we're going back, and yeah, it's just getting the bags ready to go.
Okay, thanks very much. Good luck with it.
Dim cadw ti, Dwayne, just yr un peth yn Gymraeg. Just yn newyddion ynglyn â Scotty, y ffaith bod wedi ymrwymo i chi am y blynyddoedd nesaf?
Ie, falch iawn i fod yn honest i. Fi credu mae wedi bod yn allweddol i ni tymor hyn, hyd yn hyn. Mae wedi bwysig i ddod mewn ar ôl 2 tymor digon anodd i fe, fod yn honest. A mae wedi dangos i werth, mae wedi bod yn arbennig ar y ca, a oedd hi ar y ca hefyd, mae wedi arwain yn dda, felly bles iawn bod wedi cytuno i rwyddo i ni a edrych mlaen eto i weithio dy fe dros y blynyddoedd nesaf.
Mae wedi bod yn gyfnod anodd, gath yr anaf na i'w gefn ar un adeg, oedd e ddim yn siŵr i hun sa'n credu os bydde fe'n gallu dod nôl, ond mae wedi bod yn wych rhyw blwyddyn hyn. Gymaint o argraff mae wedi cael i chi ar y ca.
Odi, mae wedi bod yn wych, a fel ti'n gweud, siarad i fe, a fi credu bydde fe digon onest i na, falle ddim meddwl yr unwaith bod e wedi wario gêm diwetha. Felly dod nôl o ni a dangos beth mae'n gallu wneud. Yn y farn ni, sy'n credu bod mae fe'n holliach yn amlwg, ond so ddim yn, fi credu bod mwy dy fe fy'n hefyd, felly fi siŵr bod e'n ysu i bwrw ymlaen nawr a dangos werth mae'n hyn, ond fi'n credu bod y boes yn falch iawn bod e'n aros, oherwydd bod pawb yn meddwl gymaint o fe yn y garfan, felly pan mae fe wedi arwain, mae wedi bod yn gapten yna ni, felly mae fe'n dda bod e'n aros dyn ni.
A ran arall o'r jigsaw, fi'n gwybod bod chi'n trial recruito, mae arian yn beth prin yn amlwg, ond mae mor bwysig cadw'r boes yn a denu, wrth gwrs, mae hwnna'r un mor bwysig.
Odi, yn bendant, mae'n bwysig bod ni'n cadw y chwaraewr allweddol ni'n meddwl, felly sy'n cadw'r garfan at ei gilydd. Mae'n amlwg bod mae eisiau profiad yn y garfan hefyd. Mae cwbl o boes ifanc gyda ni a mae eisiau arweiniaeth arnyn nhw. Felly mae'n bwysig bod ni'n cadw y pobl, y chwaraewyr profiadol sydd wedi bod mewn spel achos maen nhw'n gallu dangos y ffordd i'r boes ifanc a hefyd i ychwanegu wedyn chwaraewyr o safon uchel i ddod mewn hefyd, oherwydd mae pobl sy'n dod o tu allan, fi'n credu bod yn bwysig bod nhw'n cyfrannu at y garfan. Mae ni wedi gweld Soni Camlafoni, ni wedi gweld Thomas Lozana yn Bryn, Sam Lowsey. Mae boes yn wedi ychwanegu'n fawr iawn at y garfan, felly Blade Thompson i'n arall, felly mae'n bwysig bod os ni yn sînio pobl o tu allan, bod nhw'n dod mewn a creu'r argraff ni.
Just yn ola, o edrych ar y gêm diwetha, rwystredigaeth yn erbyn Connacht, ble ti'n gosod y gêm yma nawr yn erbyn Glasgow, gofio bod chi ar eich ffordd wedyn mas i dde Africa eto?
Yn amlwg mae'n gêm bwysig oherwydd bod ni'n gêm gytre, rwystredigaeth yn amlwg bod ni wedi colli'r gêm gytre diwetha. Cedi dechreuon ni'r gêm yn dda am 30 munud yn canol y gêm, o'n i ddim digon da roi ni pwyntiau bant i Connacht. Felly mae'n bwysig bod ni'n trial dod i'r pethach ni wedi gweithio yno yn ymarfer mewn i'r gêm hon. A wedyn, os gen i buddigoliaeth bydd yn gret, gan bod ni ar y daith nawr am 2 wythnos yn olynol, chymod ni'n mynd i De Africa, a wedyn ni'n mynd mas i'r Eidal wythnos ar ôl ni hefyd. Felly 3 gêm bant y gytre, felly mae gêm yn bwysig i ni.